Welcome to the Million Dollar Purpose Podcast, where we're answering the big question: how do I find my purpose and how do I get paid for it? In this episode, we're going to go over how to discover your $1 million message. And I give you my 3-step formula for discovering your $1 million message. This is the message and the branding that you're going to be able to use to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And I want to share with you, before I show you the method, how I discovered $1 million purpose. Okay, because that is my $1 million message, right? Yours is going to obviously be different than mine. But if you think about some messaging out there, like there are certain things that people have put out into the world that they become known for. And that's their $1 million message. So the way that I found mine is honestly through business ventures, discovering what niche I was going to be in. That was kind of the first thing. And the way that I was able to discover this was through finding out what I love. Now, before I even discovered this, I was struggling in the industry. I was struggling to make money online. I was struggling to know what kind of content to post. I was struggling to show up authentically. And so it wasn't until I started talking about what I love that my $1 million message came to me, which now, as you know, is $1 million purpose. So, and once I started sharing my $1 million message, what happened was I was able to test and approve the message, right? Now, that brings me to a scripture. It's Romans 12:2, I believe. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve the will of God. I botched that verse. But basically, there's a part of it that says, then you will be able to test and approve what the will of God is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. That's what you do. That's what I was able to do with $1 million purpose, because the fruits were fruiting. The fruits were sweet. The fruits I was able to pick off the tree and bite into. I was making more money. I was impacting people in a way that I had never impacted people before with this $1 million message. And so now that you know how I come up with this method, I want to share the 3 steps with you so you can find your own $1 million message. Step 1 is this: decide on the method of serving / transformation that you most love doing, talking about, or studying. So for me, it's business, it's purpose. I started falling in love with discovering my purpose a while ago. And then, I discovered what I love. Obviously, I love business. I love entrepreneurship. And I love purpose. So that came $1 million purpose. But that phrase, that messaging didn't come immediately. I discovered what I loved first. And then step 2. So step 1 is love. Step 2 was experiment and testing. It's about testing the fruits of your message to see what it produces. Good fruit equals divine messaging. Bad fruit equals mistaken messaging. So before the $1 million purpose, came to me, or I was testing and experimenting with other things. At first I had profit on purpose. Profit on purpose. That was my first messaging. Now, remember, good fruit equals divine messaging. Bad fruit equals mistaken messaging. And that particular messaging did not produce the fruit, good fruit. Profit on purpose did not produce good fruit. Therefore, it was mistaken messaging. That's okay. It takes experimenting and testing, but I was in the ballpark, right? Profit on purpose and $1 million purpose are not too far off. But the experiment and the testing, it was a phase that you kind of have to go through in order to find that divine messaging. And that's why step 2 is check the fruits. Check the fruits. Divine messaging or good fruit equals divine messaging. Bad fruit equals mistaken messaging. Okay, so check the fruit. Step 2. Step 3 is divine confirmation. God will continue to confirm again and again, and your soul will ultimately know that this is your $1 million message. So one day I was laying in bed, and this message, $1 million purpose, bloop, dropped into my mind out of eternity, from God, like bloop, right into my head. And I ran out the door. My husband was trying to talk to me. I said, I can't talk right now. And I just ran out the door and wrote it down. And I just had like a meeting with God in that moment. And it was divine confirmation. It was like, oh my gosh, like I just got a message from God. $1 million purpose. That is your $1 million message. Oh my gosh. And then God continued as I switched everything. Because remember, I was doing Profit on Purpose and I had branding. I had a course called that. And it took work to switch everything. And as I did, God could continue to confirm again and again and again. I went from 80 to 8,000 followers on Instagram in 45 days after I switched this messaging. 80 to 8,000 in 45 days. That's confirmation, divine confirmation. Crazy results, okay? So step 1 is love. Love. What do you love talking about? Studying. The transformation you most love giving people. Step 1, love. Step 2, experiment/test. Test the fruits of your messaging. Good fruit equals divine messaging. Bad fruit equals mistaken messaging. Step 3, divine confirmation. God will continue to confirm again and again, and your soul will ultimately know this is your $1 million message. Well, it's incredible. It's going to be night and day when you truly discover your $1 million message. It's going to be your brand. It's going to be your products. Your product is going to surround it. Your value ladder is going to surround this divine messaging. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm so excited for you to find your $1 million message. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. And if you want to learn more about what I teach, you can go to the free training in the description below. But I'm wishing you so much purpose and so much prosperity. God bless.